Hi, I'm Bart Herbison, Executive Director of the Nashville Songwriters Association for the Tennessean and the Tennessean.com and the story behind the song. And we're privileged to have Hall of Fame songwriter Gary Burr. And before we do the story behind the song this week, Gary, I want to shake your hand and thank you, because in a town of great songwriters, with an organization whose motto is "It all begins with the song," we are all better off for you having been and continuing to be a songwriter in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well,
and I mean that
you.
from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
You're one of the great ones, man. And you know, there's a handful of songwriters. Mr. Gary Burr.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Really remarkable. So the song this week is What Matters Most. And sometimes good things come out of other intentions. You and Vince Melamed wrote this, but it's not what you started out to do. So what's the story? How did this evolve?
Well, the music was always there. The music is actually a little finger exercise that I had that would warm me up before a writing appointment or a show. It was just a little finger picking thing that I sort of made up. So the music was always there, but I had this idea and I brought it to Vince and I said, you know the line in The Wizard of Oz, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain? And I just thought that line would be a great line to write a song around. And I had all these grand plans, and Vince and I tried to write this song about a guy leaving, a woman is leaving, they're breaking up, and he's up in the upstairs bedroom watching her go. And he is saying in the song, if you look up at the window as you're leaving, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. You're doing the right thing. You should go. Don't change your mind and come back. And we tried to write that for about 6 months, maybe a year. Every time we get together, we'd get we'd stare at each other and nothing. It just didn't want to be written. And finally, we threw the whole thing out, and the only line we kept was pay no attention. And we just started from scratch and wrote What Mattered Most.
You know, Did either one of you have a specific person in mind? Because that girl, I could, first time I ever heard it, I could see her in the video, and you're so descriptive about who she was. Her hair was, was eyes were blue, and
that was my favorite part of the writing. Was, there are certain song techniques of writing. It's a story. It's a list song. I like writing list songs. I've written several list songs that have become hits. And this was another, it's a emotional, breaking heart song, but when you hit the chorus, it just becomes a list song. And the trick with a list song is you can't just say the normal things. So when we said her eyes were blue, which was a nice starting point, but from that point on, we both said that has to be the only normal thing that's going to come out. Everything else has to be a left turn. Her eyes were blue. Her hair was, you would think you'd go blonde. No, her hair was long. In '64, she was born in Baton Rouge. We just wanted each thing in the list to be unexpected and as poetic as two semi-literate humans can make it.
I love songs, but I don't care. I don't know how many thousands of times, probably literally, I've heard that song. We play it a lot in the office. Mm. Oh, the emotion, man. No? Well, it's on Rhapsody, so it's a legal service.
Okay,
everybody
good.
out there.
All right, good. Just checking. If he does it, you can do it.
Man, it moves me. It just gets me every time. And I know, so I'm going to ask two different questions about this. And she's not coming back in this song. So first, guys that have come up to you through the years that were that guy. I know you've had to hear stories, and they have to move you too, because it's personal. It's a person.
Yeah, when you do have someone come up and tell you, that something you made up matches their life, it's
particularly in that one, because it's unrequited, man. I mean,
right. It's not. You're looking at somebody that doesn't have that isn't going to say to you, oh yeah, but funny thing, she came back and we're fine now and we've had 8 kids. It's generally a traumatic thing in their life, and it means a lot when you hear that, and that song is real emotional still to me.
But the twist on that question Did any guy ever come up to you, or girl for that matter, but particularly guy because of the way the song's structured, and went, I heard it, and I was about to keep making that mistake, but that song prevented it?
I've never had anyone actually say that, but I like to think that there's something out there, because you can hear songs that are the right advice for the right time. This accidentally you hear it on the radio, and I hope so. That would be really nice. The ending of that song is very, when he just out and out admits that, not only does he miss the way she laughs, but also, the bedroom stuff, and then when he gets that deep into it, when the last line is just, wow, did I screw up? Oh my God, what did I do? That was Vince and I looking, going, can we do that? Can we say that? Can that be the last thing in the song, is basically going, am I an idiot or what?
Well, as a fan, I don't know how else you could have done it.
That is the majority of the people's, ow moment. And you dream about, as a songwriter, you want the either jump to your feet and dance moment, or you want the ow. And that's our ow right there.
Well, you don't get into the Songwriters Hall of Fame without having filters on your own material. You know in the room, and I know you knew in Vince that day, that you were on to something special. So the next part of the story behind this song is how it got cut. And there was probably a little disappointment before the end result of that cut.
Yeah, at the time that we wrote that, we really wanted Randy Travis or Colin Ray to cut the song. It was around that time period, and we thought we wrote a big song, and we wanted a big artist to do it. And it was a great lesson. It was still young enough in my career that I, contrary to my basic core belief, I did not know it all. And so when they came to me and said, you don't know who he is, but he's good, and he's going to cut your song that you thought was going to buy you a new house. And you just have that smile on your face, because you don't want to have the record executive see you die inside. But, but inside you're going, no, please, Randy Travis, no, not real, oh, man. And so, and it was a great lesson, because it's the song, it's the timing, it's the artist, it's everything. And we didn't know who Ty was, and he put it out, and it was a huge hit. And, probably, and when people say, play me one song, that's the one I pull out. And that's a hell of a thing you can say about a song. That's my go-to.
Ty Herndon did it, and he certainly did it justice. And, in this instant society where you don't have to wait 15 years because the audience moves on, I think it's time for that thing to get cut again.
Well, that would be a lot, but...
Artist, it's time for that song to get cut again.
That would be something.
I'm Bart Herbison for The Tennessean and TheTennessean.com. This week, Gary Burr and the story behind the song, What Mattered Most.
I thought I knew the girl so well. When she was sad, I couldn't tell. I missed the point, I missed the signs. So if she's gone, the fault is mine. Now I know a whole lot of little things, even though I could list them one by one, she would still be gone. Her eyes were blue, her hair was long. At 64, she was born in Baton Rouge. Her favorite song was In My Life. I memorized her every move. I knew her books, her car, her clothes. But I paid no attention to what matters.